In the heart of the Pine Barrens, a vast, desolate stretch of wilderness in southern New Jersey, lies one of the oldest and most enduring legends of North American folklore, the tale of the Jersey Devil. For over 250 years, this terrifying creature has haunted the imaginations of locals, as well as those who ventured too far into the dense, dark woods. It is said that the Jersey Devil was born not of natural means, but through a curse that still lingers in the mist and the shadows of the barrens. The legend begins in the early 18th century, in the year 1735. A woman by the name of Deborah Leeds, living in a small isolated cabin deep within the Pine Barrens, already had 12 children. Overburdened with the stress of raising so many, she was horrified to discover she was pregnant with a 13th child. Frustrated, overwhelmed, and desperate, she cried out in anger, "Let this one be the devil." It was a curse spoken in the heat of despair, but little did she know, her words would birth a nightmare. When the time came, the night was stormy. Winds howled through the trees, rattling the small cabin as the thunder echoed across the barrens. Inside, Mother Leeds gave birth to her 13th child, and for a brief moment it seemed like any other newborn. But then before her eyes, the child began to change. Its body twisted and grew. Wings, leathery and bat-like, sprouted from its back. Its feet morphed into cloven hooves, its hands into claws. Horns erupted from its forehead, and a long serpentine tail thrashed behind it. Mother Leeds could only scream in horror as the creature that had once been her child rose up, snarling, with glowing red eyes. With a blood-curdling screech, it tore through the cabin, attacking everyone in its path. Then it turned and burst through the roof, disappearing into the stormy night, flying high above the trees and into the endless darkness of the Pine Barrens. Thus, the Jersey Devil was born. For generations, the people of southern New Jersey have told stories of strange occurrences deep within the Pine Barrens. Some speak of the eerie, unnatural silence that can settle over the woods, as though the very creatures of the forest fear making a sound. Others describe hearing strange, unearthly cries echoing through the trees, carried on the wind. These cries, they say, belong to the Jersey Devil. But the sightings are not confined to sounds alone. Countless people have come face to face with this beast. Descriptions of the Jersey Devil vary slightly, but most agree on its horrific appearance. A creature that stands on two legs but has the wings of a bat. Its face, twisted and grotesque, resembles a horse or a goat, with glowing red eyes that pierce the night. Its hooves leave deep prints in the soil, and its wings are powerful enough to carry it through the night sky. Its shrieks are said to chill the blood, a sound that no one who has heard it will ever forget. For years, the devil stalked the barrens, terrorizing farmers, hunters, and anyone unfortunate enough to cross its path. Livestock would be found dead, brutally slaughtered, with no explanation for their deaths, other than the unmistakable hoof prints left around the bodies. Witnesses have reported seeing the Jersey Devil flying overhead, silhouetted against the moon, its terrifying cry splitting the night as it hunts through the wilderness. The most chilling part of these sightings: the devil seems to appear without warning, and once it has chosen you as its prey, escape is almost impossible. The most infamous string of Jersey Devil sightings occurred during a single week in January 1909, when the creature seemed to go on a rampage. For 7 straight days, fear gripped the residents of New Jersey and even parts of Pennsylvania. The beast was spotted in dozens of towns, and each new sighting only added to the growing panic. In the early hours of the morning, the devil was seen flying through the skies over Bristol, Pennsylvania. It left hoof prints in the snow, and local authorities were baffled by the marks. No animal native to the area could have made them. Later that day, the creature attacked a trolley car full of passengers in Haddon Heights, New Jersey, crashing into the roof of the vehicle and causing panic among the riders. Witnesses described a monstrous winged creature with glowing eyes, screeching as it battered the trolley. As the week went on, the Jersey Devil was seen everywhere, from Camden to Burlington, and even in the suburbs of Philadelphia. People reported finding bizarre footprints in their yards, on rooftops, and in the middle of otherwise undisturbed snowbanks. Police in Camden and Bristol attempted to shoot the creature, but bullets had no effect. The devil simply shrugged them off and flew into the night. By the end of the week, schools were closed, businesses shuttered their doors, and people stayed inside, fearing the devil might come for them next. The panic was so widespread that even the most skeptical were forced to admit that something strange was happening in the Pine Barrens. Even though the Jersey Devil's week of terror is long behind us, sightings of the creature continue to this day. Hikers, campers, and even those who live near the Barrens speak of strange encounters, hearing the devil's unearthly scream echoing through the trees, or catching a glimpse of a strange winged figure disappearing into the underbrush. One such encounter happened not long ago. A man named Tom Hawkins, an experienced hunter, was out in the Pine Barrens late one evening. The sun had just dipped below the horizon, and he was making his way back to his truck when he heard something moving in the trees. At first he thought it was just an animal, a deer, or maybe a coyote. But then he heard it, the scream. It wasn't a normal animal sound, but something far more chilling, like the shriek of a tortured soul. Hawkins froze, his heart pounding in his chest as the sound drew closer. Then, out of the corner of his eye, he saw it, a large, dark figure with wings, standing on two legs, its red eyes glowing in the fading light, the Jersey Devil. Without thinking, he raised his rifle, but his hands shook so badly he could barely aim. The creature screeched again, then took off into the sky, disappearing into the darkness. Hawkins never returned to the Barrens after that night. The memory of those glowing eyes and that scream haunted him for the rest of his life. The legend of the Jersey Devil has persisted for centuries, passed down through generations. To the people of southern New Jersey, the creature is more than just a myth. It's a part of their history, their culture. Some dismiss it as mere folklore, but others believe, deep down, that the Jersey Devil is still out there, lurking in the Pine Barrens, waiting. Perhaps it's because the Pine Barrens themselves are so mysterious. A sprawling, untamed wilderness where even seasoned explorers can lose their way. The Barrens are full of secrets, hidden corners, and forgotten paths where anything could be hiding. And in the deep of night, when the wind howls through the trees and the shadows seem to move on their own, the Jersey Devil might just be watching, ready to emerge from the darkness once more. So if you ever find yourself in the Pine Barrens, alone and far from help, remember the stories. Remember the glowing eyes, the leathery wings, and the shriek that chills the soul. Because in the Barrens, the Jersey Devil may be closer than you think.